Welcome to Patscast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. We are a proud member of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is our episode for December 21st, 2019.
Whitting kept it in, rimmed it back around the goal. Nikita Sedov skates on a right wing. Quick shot, and he scores! Nikita Sedov cuts the Blazers lead in half. Carson Denemy, middle point, Whitting, wrist shot, tipped, and they score! Caden Daly, he's got goals in back-to-back games.
All right, we didn't get to do a typical follow-up on the three games that we had. It's a while ago now. That's not what this episode's about. It's mostly our mid-season, I'll say traditionally now, do with Kevin. He's sort of our start, mid-season, and end-of-season special guest. And Kevin, why don't you just give anyone who hasn't heard you listen to any of those episodes, why don't you just give us a little bit about who you are and why we would have you on here?
I guess I'm the unofficial Pats historian. I've been going to the games since I was 9 months old, which is now 40 years ago. And anything to do with the Pats history, I want to know. That's me.
And you were explaining you're doing a little bit extra for the Pats this year. What is that?
I'm helping out with the data tracking for the analytics department. So I can't really get into too much detail, but I'm watching games for other teams for the Pats.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so you're watching the opposing teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Watching other teams, other division, all different games.
Yeah, okay. So where they have their own guys doing the Pats stuff, and then you're doing the opposing stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. So you also have a Twitter account that you run?
Yeah, at the Blue Liner.
What have you been sharing lately?
Pretty much historical stuff that happens day to day. I've kind of let it go for a little bit, but I'm starting it up again.
Yeah, I like this day in history of the Pats. Those are I quite like those ones coming up. Sometimes kind of obscure, sometimes some pretty notable names. It's kind of neat. Sometimes I like the trades that you highlight, and for instance, the Pat Falloon one sticks out in my mind.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
You think, oh, okay. I mean, that's long hindsight, right? Way back, you can see his whole career have played out, and yeah,
and see how the trade actually developed and who won / lost in the end.
For sure.
Yeah,
I try.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely interesting. I like seeing those ones. Okay, let's get through these three games. We had Kamloops come through town. Probably one of the quieter, more boring, lackluster games.
Yeah, it wasn't. You thought, okay, Kamloops was rolling in. They got some speed, some skill, and we thought it'd be a little more exciting game. And the Pats can play up to some of these teams, and it was just
yeah. Although Kamloops didn't play that amazing either. We were
no, definitely not. No,
for as poorly as we seemed to be playing, it was 2-1 for a while. Then we took that penalty, and then promptly got scored on. I think that was the dagger. If we would have kept it 2-1, who knows? But yeah, that
was the
3-1
point.
goal.
I think the TSN turning point right there. I think.
Yeah, it was over after that. Now that being said, would you say it was a poor effort or just a bad game?
Well, Strucher's not happy with the older guys. He called them out after the game. I don't think we're going to run any interviews today, but you can go back and read my game recap on dubnetwork.ca. And he was not happy with the older guys' game. And that's one of the first games he's actually not been happy with the team's effort, especially the older guys. So, but I mean, you look at the next game. I don't mean to run right into the next game, but it was much better.
Yeah, and that's what we can run into it because it was. There were two good teams coming in, and Kamloops and Kelowna, and we were talking about how junior hockey. It's like you don't know what team's going to show up, and that's sort of maybe the quote unquote fun of it. But the difference between Kamloops and Kelowna game was night and day.
Yeah,
I don't know. That Kamloops game was finally, the Kelowna game felt like it was worth being at the rink. The Kelowna one, or Kamloops, not so much.
Yeah, I thought it was much better. What do you think, Kevin?
Definitely. The Kamloops game was so it felt just like a boring, mean-nothing game, but the Kelowna game was a lot better.
Yeah.
They started playing. They actually skated. All the veterans seemed to be clicking.
Yeah. After Kelowna got that first goal, though, I thought, they're going to dial it up. That first goal, I don't know if you remember it now. It's been a while, but it was a beautiful goal. That pass from Joseph.
The back door, yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
I thought, here they're going to start dialing it up. And no, I was after that, and I was happy with the game overall. we can look at the defensive goals, right? It was defense getting goals now.
Yeah, Walker, Evans, and Whitnick.
Yeah, they all had goals in that game, so that was kind of an unusual part of that.
It was the first time in, I don't know, 3 years, I think, or something about that 3 defensemen had a goal in a game.
Oh, do you know that, Kevin?
I saw that. I saw that tweet.
Yeah.
Oh, who tweeted that?
Jeffrey Brandow.
Oh, okay.
The guy that with the obscure facts.
Man, where does he... We can talk about him. I don't know what's his handle on Twitter?
I think it's Jeffrey Brandow. Geoff.
If you're not following him, the stats he pulls out are just... I don't know where he's getting them. They are some of the most obscure... He must have some database that he either maintains or has access to, because it is unbelievable some of the things he tweets.
I know, and he tweets about every single team in the whole CHL.
Yeah, and it'll be like, here's a random fact about this game, and it'll be some bizarre... It's pretty interesting, though.
I know, and he's got so many, it's hard to...
It's hard to sometimes filter out how much he tweets, but some pretty neat stuff comes through him. Regardless, I mean, that was an awesome game, nice win. Now, Kevin, we're going to rely on you a little bit for the Winnipeg game, because
don't rely on me.
It's this time of year. It's tough. Things just come up. I wasn't in town, and I thought, I'll get to watch it. It's been so busy, and
this week's been busy for all of us, I think.
Yeah,
you know, we all had birthdays this week, and
Kevin, when's yours? I knew it was around
the
then.
19th.
Okay, I knew it was around ours. Ours was the 17th.
Yeah, and then lots of things are wrapping up. So I had my year-end pool tournament. So we played all day Sunday, and it was a worthwhile day because we ended up walking away with money. So that was good.
Ooh.
And we made money.
You're gonna claim that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
As your income? Okay,
yeah.
Good. Because we are Connexus will help you with that.
Oh, okay. Well, so we paid. I don't know. We paid for our next session's fees and all that, and then I think we all walked away with over $100. So I'll deposit that.
That's pretty good.
Except I just blew like $50 today. So
invested.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, not too much we can say about the Winnipeg game, other than it's nice to come out with a point.
Yeah, they've given us trouble all year.
That's true. That's true. It's nice to come out with a point. Gave up 46 shots.
Yeah.
So we can talk about. We'll get into how much Paddock means to this team, but your girlfriend went to the game, so she gave us a bit of a rundown of it. She said it was dead quiet, and they took a penalty at the end of the game. Started overtime on a penalty. Took one in overtime. So we're actually really lucky to even survive overtime.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. She did say that.
But yeah, she specifically highlighted how quiet it was.
It was very, very quiet.
Worse than
Wednesday?
I would say so. It was
really?
So for a Sunday. It was a Sunday game, right? Yeah.
Yes.
For a Sunday game with all the kids there, it was really quiet.
That was my thought too. Well, it's going to be Sunday afternoon. There's the post game skate. There'll be lots of kids there, and she's like, "No, it was dead quiet."
Yeah, it was a post game skate too.
Yeah.
Huh. I was surprised to see. I just assumed that. So this was our last game before the Christmas break. That the dub was breaking. There was a game. What?
There was more games during the week here.
Yeah, I thought that was it, but
Up to the 18th.
Yeah, there was a game really recently.
The 18th.
Yeah, okay. And I thought we ended. I thought everyone just ended and they didn't play this week, but apparently they did. Anything else you want to say about those games, or do we want to get into our review here mid-season?
Yeah, not really. I don't think it's just 3 points out of those 3 games. You can't really argue with that. Could have had more if we would have played half decent against Kamloops. It was only 4-2 game, right, with the empty netter.
Well, I know. So. That's one of the things that I took from that game was as bad as we played. I think Kamloops played down to us.
Yeah,
I think that was the case there.
It was kind of like that Swift Current, that midweek Swift Current game a couple weeks ago, where we played down to their level, and it was just a boring game. And
we were playing terrible, and Kamloops was playing terrible too.
Yeah.
So
Kamloops was also missing Zeri.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
It was kind of a disappointing
and
fact of this whole road trip with those 2 teams coming in, that you would, when you see it on the schedule, and if you didn't think about World Juniors, that you get to see these players come through, and we didn't get to see either of the stars from both those teams.
Yeah, and Kamloops is struggling a bit too. They've got some injuries, and Foot was gone to World Juniors, like you said, so we took advantage of it though. Yeah, Kelowna. Yeah. No, it was an okay to end the season, the mid-season, and we'll get into our mid-season review. But first, I got some trivia. So I was explaining it to Kevin. I think I told you too. But driving to the rink, they were talking about how Kelowna has kind of had their way with Regina recently. In the last 10 years, I guess now it's
we have 2 wins in the last 11 years.
Yeah.
So we were 9-1 over the last 10 years. Well, 9-1 as in we've lost 9 and won 1.
1-9.
Yeah, 1-9 against Kelowna. So I started thinking a little bit about winning streaks of teams against that same team and some of the stretches that have happened. So before we get to that, so you guys can ponder that. I have both. I have MLB, NHL, NFL, and NCAA. And NCAA is pretty wild.
Yeah, I suggested NCAA because I knew there's some long
so I looked that
streaks.
up. So the Saskatchewan Podcast Network is supported by Connexus. Wellness, however you define it, is achievable. You don't even need to figure it all yourself. Talk to Connexus. They give you guidance, motivation, and the push you need to reach your goals. They've got your back. They're your financial partner, and they know how you can achieve your very best, your financial best. Prove them right and start right at Connexus Credit Union. Okay, the winning streaks. MLB. Now, I would have thought, until we started talking a little bit more, but I would have thought an MLB streak would have been longer just because of they play so many games. But then you start thinking about pitching. And it's actually hard to even sweep it, like
a 3-game.
To win a 3-game or a 4-game, and to do that over and over would be hard. So MLB is actually the shortest at 18 games, and that's the Brewers over the Pirates.
Wow.
That's a division, I think, in division.
I didn't write down the year, but I know, because the
18
Brewers
games is still quite a bit.
The Brewers used to be AL, and then they went to NL.
Right.
So this must be their NL. This must be since then.
It could be overlap too.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The NHL is Montreal over Washington at 23 games.
Whew. Wow.
It's quite a while. Yeah. Now these aren't active either, right? Obviously, but the NFL was the Dolphins over the Bills at 20 games. So that was a decade.
So that's
they were
in division.
A lot of games.
They were in the division. That's 10 years.
Yeah,
that's a lot of games. Holy man.
10 years they didn't beat them, and but that's changed now. The Bills are actually not a bad team. So then NCAA is Notre Dame over Navy. And what's your guess for how many games?
Well, I just saw it.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Okay, how many?
Football. This is football.
41.
43.
Oh.
You're damn close. Jeez, for just a stab in the dark. 1964 to 2007.
Wow, that's a lot of games.
Beat them. So imagine that game where they did win. Wow.
Yeah. that's a big rivalry, actually. Despite Navy not being that great of a football team anymore, historically they aren't the best. But
clearly not against.
And Notre Dame's always a decent game.
I just took actually a little swallow of the our good friends over there at Rebellion. If you haven't listened to their podcast, you should give them a shot. He's another member of another affiliate member of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network, and listened to them a few times lately, and really started me thinking about their raspberry smoothies and their sours. And I had some sours at one point in my hand, and I was like, I just don't know if I can commit to these, because, I mean, when someone says a sour beer, and my first experience with a sour was pretty bad. So Chris brought over some raspberry sour smoothies, and what do you think about them?
They're tart. It's not that sour. Like, what did we have? The pineapple before? And I think this is just more tart because it's raspberry, right?
Do you think so?
Yeah, and it's not that sour. Like, I think the lactose in it and the smoothie aspect of it actually it gives your tongue that little but I think that's maybe more of the raspberry, right? But
could be. Yeah,
I think it's not bad. It'd be a good summer drink.
Yeah, I think so too. And I know Rebellion was kind of touting it as a holiday drink.
Yeah, it's a season. They're seasonal this year, so
I think it would be great in the summer. But it's it's not very beery.
No,
right?
No. Yeah, it's more like a cider.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, but it's all right.
Something different.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into our mid-season review. Currently, the Pats have played 30 games. We're sitting at 8 wins, 18 losses, and 3 overtime losses. We've got 38 games left. How are you guys feeling? Kevin, you're the historian. Where's this team stacking up in...
They're not the worst.
They're not the worst. I asked you when you came in, I said, what was the worst team? And what the worst team for everyone else was...
76, 77, they won 8
out
of 72. They lost. They didn't win a game on the road.
Okay, so as long as we win one more game, we'll be not the worst.
Yeah.
Although, if you're looking at winning percentage, we'd have to win a couple more.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know the math off the top of my head. But
I think we had this discussion last year. Remember?
It was
very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah. It is unfortunately very similar. I think we've talked about this a few times, mentioned it, but This year feels more disappointing, though.
Yeah, I think all of us expected a little more this year.
Definitely.
We were talking, so at our season preview, I think
I was wrong.
We were
We all
all
were.
wrong. Yeah. I didn't go back and listen, but I'm fairly certain Kevin had picked.
I picked about 500. I think
500.
it was 30 to 35 wins. I can't remember exactly, but I predicted 500 hockey.
Yeah, and it has been a little closer to that lately.
But not after the first 11 games. No.
No.
Yeah, you referenced
Chris,
it.
I think you were a little bit more conservative at. You said 25 to 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said 30 wins.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you referenced it there, Kevin. 1 and 10 start really hurt us.
Oh, that was bad.
That was real bad, right? We're 7, 8, and 4 since, and I think that's what we expected throughout the whole season.
Yeah, for sure.
Not
Yeah.
that 1 and 10 start just dug us a deep hole. But I mean, it's nice to see them recover from that and start racking up some wins and get some more. I mean, more. Not, I wouldn't say consistency, but at least they're. I mean, because the efforts in the first half of that first half weren't bad. It's just we were losing 1-2 goal games. I think maybe the goaltending is what sunk us a bit.
Just weren't getting the bounces. Yeah, and then Paddock had those injuries. Had to start. Had to start without Paddock being healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And then trading
McNabb.
McNabb.
I was just talking to Rod Pearson. I was just in the South End Mall earlier. And what happened to McNabb? Do you know, Kevin?
No, he just disappeared off of Winnipeg's roster.
Yeah. So
Oh, he's not even playing with them?
No, he's not on the roster anymore. They got Liam
Oh.
Hughes, and
because they got
he
the guy-
disappeared. They didn't announce anything.
Oh.
Yeah, and I noticed that he was gone, and I was going to look into it, but I forgot about it.
Yeah, he was hurt for a bit. He played
Yeah.
a bit, and then he all of a sudden disappeared.
Yeah, and Liam Hughes is the guy that Lethbridge picked up last year, and then he bailed on.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he played a couple games in the AJHL, and then he just showed up in Winnipeg.
Weren't you was it you that watched a game with him and he looked a little
So I watched
fish out
the
of water?
highlights. Yeah, I watched the highlights of the Winnipeg game from Sunday, and yeah, he was
All over the place.
Yeah, he did not look very
Back
good.
and forth, just flipping around.
Yeah.
It was weird.
The one goal, I think it was the power play goal. We did kind of the high-low-high play, and he had one pad in the net and one pad outside the net. I'm like, I can't remember who scored.
yeah.
Holmes it was, maybe?
I think, yeah.
He had
Holmes
3/4 of the net to shoot at. Like,
Oh,
if
yeah.
he missed if he didn't score there, like, that's rough. But, and then, one of the other goals, I think it was Cole. He had a 2-on-1 with somebody, and he kind of was looking pass, and he started to slide over for a pass, and Cole had half the net to score.
Yeah, he went the opposite. He went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Totally.
He bit on the pass,
Totally.
and Cole was like, okay, I have half the net to shoot at, and he scored.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't see the whole game, obviously. I just saw the highlights of the goals and stuff. But, yeah, he was really looking a little rough in that game. But
Okay, I didn't know actually McNabb was gone, which really now kind of makes this even crappier. Is you could have had him maybe for those first few games and had a better outcome.
yeah, and I think they moved on from him because we would have had to give up another draft pick. It was a conditional.
Yeah, there
so
was a conditional pick in there.
So if he played with us, I guess at any point in this season we would have had to give up a pick. So that's why they moved him before the season, I assume. Because you would have liked to maybe they both get split time at the start of the season, and then you kind of maybe build up somebody's value and you move on from one of them, either him or Paddock, right?
Right.
But to give him up before the season, obviously there was. That's why I think that's where the condition was.
Well, we can talk. I mean, we alluded to it. I wanted to get into it a little bit. Is the strength of this team? The wins have come off goaltending, I think. And now the question is Paddock someone that's going to stay on this team? Is there a market for him? Is there? Kevin, you were alluding a little bit. You were talking about it, and I said, don't talk about it right now. We'll talk about it. So
he's our most valuable player. He's worth something to somebody, I'm sure. And he's only 19. And teams seem to bring in 20-year-old goalies, keep 20-year-old goalies again. So he might be a year and a half player. So
yeah, especially without being signed or anything, or even going to a camp. I mean, he was hurt, but he didn't go to camp this year. So his pro prospects are pretty slim right now. So I think it's almost a guarantee he's back next year.
So he's got to be worth something to somebody.
yeah, but how much is he worth to us? I mean, without him,
We're in trouble.
that's what I wanted to get at. Is if we trade Paddock, what return are you getting?
Yeah,
who's shopping for a goaltender? It didn't seem like Kelowna now is. That was maybe something we were thinking about at the start of the season. Is they're going to need a goaltender? It's maybe not as required now.
Yeah, I don't know. And like you said, your return, is that worth losing him for the year, for next year? plus the rest of this year? I don't think so. I think
I don't
we
think
need because you see our options. Our options are not good, other than Paddock, right?
But why do we have a 19-year-old backup
I don't know.
that doesn't play?
Yeah,
They could have kept Bellick around.
maybe they just wanted him playing time to get more playing time because they're going to ride Paddock. So
Yeah, it's
that's
possible.
the only thing I can think of. And so Paddock, if he sticks around, he's going to be playing the majority next year. Is Keeper going to be the backup next year, and then looking to start the year after in a 17-year-old season? But
And they also signed that Spencer Welke, the 17-year-old
Okay.
out of Yorkton.
yes,
So, and who knows, is Bellick is he still a property of the Pats?
I think haven't looked at the list. He's still property of us or not, but yeah, I know the goaltending situation is kind of a mess.
Seems like once Paddock, after Paddock, it's just, who
It's
knows?
a crater, yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
Right?
And that coming from a team where that's our strength right now, to not have that is a little scary.
But we don't know about Buskey. He's played 2 games. We don't know what kind of goal he's actually going to be.
I think it depends on what you can get for him. I'm thinking of the contenders out there though. Is goaltending a concern with them? If you look at the top team, Calgary's,
Yeah, Calgary maybe is possibly looking for one.
Edmonton pretty set. Vancouver is for sure.
Well, yeah.
What about Kamloops?
Yeah, with Garand, yeah.
And Everett's good.
Yeah.
Portland?
They got Hofer.
Hofer.
Oh yeah.
There's that set.
We can go on a bit of a tangent on Hofer too. So
I said that to Matt, yeah.
Hofer was the Hutterite we used to boo when he came in.
We enjoyed him coming to the game.
Yeah.
'Cause we
And
lit up
this
Skinner.
goes back, because Hofer was actually rated high as a goaltender going into the draft, the NHL draft. And we both were like, what is
Yeah.
this? Why are these, And
It's so tough on a real tough team, bad team, right?
right. And then he gets drafted, and we were all then a little surprised, and we were kind of beaking him. And I think it just goes back to that we are not scouts
Yeah.
at any stretch of the imagination. And then he gets selected to Team Canada World Juniors,
Wow.
and I think, what the?
Moving to Portland obviously has increased his stock. Portland's doing pretty well out there.
Yes, but to make World Juniors,
Yeah, if you would ask me if he was a World Junior goalie, I would have said no.
and
But-
particularly from his Swift current.
Yeah, exactly.
Tenure
Yeah,
too,
that's what
right?
I'm basing it off of,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, we haven't seen him play, but obviously he's doing pretty well out there.
Yeah, I was just surprised, and I had no idea that was his potential. Where were we?
Goalies, potentially.
Goaltenders, yeah, places for Paddock to go. Like, is
But
there?
yeah, I don't know. I think you want to hold on to him because I think he's more valuable to us than a second or a third round pick or 2 of them. Like, we're not going to get a first round for him, I don't think.
No,
So
no.
The
I don't
prices
think so.
seem fairly high this year, so you just never know.
yeah, you never know. Somebody may be desperate. Hey, maybe there's an injury in the next couple of weeks before the trade deadline when these teams get back playing. You never know.
Yeah,
I think for team success, holding on to him would be the best option. But
I think
that's
so.
my opinion.
What do you think, Kevin? Is he gone?
I want to say, as long as they get something good, something of value back, I'll be okay with it. Otherwise, keep him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. So what's value to a player or a pick?
Well, you have to get a goalie in return
Yeah.
because most teams already have the 2 goalies
Yeah.
set.
So you're gonna get some sort of
Going to get a
back.
goalie in return, and hopefully like a high round pick, probably not a first, but like
No.
a second or a third plus a decent goalie. Like you'll get a decent young goalie back. So
Okay.
in most cases, a young goalie.
Now that being said, is there anyone else that you think could be on the move? Could be an asset to someone?
Well, I think it's anybody at the top end here. Like you look at your 20s, any of the 20s could be moved. I think you'd have to see who's looking to upgrade at their 20 spot. But I think Pratt's got the most value. Whitnick has some value, and so does Holmes. I mean, D-men are bringing back a lot already this year. You look what Connor McDonald brought back.
Yeah.
For a guy that hasn't played much lately.
Well, he left the team.
Yeah.
So, and they still got the second and a third for him. I mean, he's not 20. That hamstrings you a bit being a 20. But if somebody's looking to upgrade a 20-year-old, all 3 of their 20s have value.
I agree. Totally.
I think Pratt's, you can tell from the score sheet, but he's been our best player on the ice for the majority of the games.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's just always that 20-year-old situation.
Yeah, and
if
Holmes,
there's
he's
someone.
been hot lately. He's picked it up. He struggled.
He's increasing his value a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he struggled at the start of the year, but he's definitely brought it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So those, and then if you get outside the 20s?
I think Cole for
Cole,
sure.
yeah.
Cole's got something.
Yeah, he'd slot into like a good second line role. I don't think he's a first line player per se, but
He'll score you some goals.
yes, he's got skill. He can work with that power play.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think he's one of the
And then other than that, I don't know really if anybody's had that has that much value at all.
no.
Because we don't really have a face-off guy
No.
or a specialist or anything like that.
No, no. I've tried to take notice because especially after Lecition last year, you realize how great he was at that, and how important that kind of asset can be. So I've been watching maybe a little bit lately. It seems like Nyhoff takes a lot of draws in some of the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's near that
No.
level of
No.
Lecition, but
I think they were trying to groom him into that role, but he's not to it as well as Lecition did.
Yeah.
I think he's only about 50%, where Lecition was 60, I believe, last year.
What about some of the? I don't want to get too negative, but what about some of the maybe guys that haven't lived up to what you would have expected this year?
I thought there's quite a few guys I thought have struggled. Like you start with Nyhoff, I thought he could produce a little more. You look at guys that we traded like Wright. We thought for sure, okay, well he put up a few goals at the end of last year. He can be a 15-goal scorer. Massier, but he's hurt now.
Yeah,
that's another thing I want to get into. He's out for the year now.
He's done for the season.
And Pats haven't said anything, but they set up her body. I think maybe arm issue.
Yeah,
but they haven't announced anything. So I thought, what did he have? He had a couple goals this year, not many at all.
No. It just it felt like last year was just like coming, and he thought, okay, over the summer, then training camp, and everything will start to click, and
nothing seemed to for a bunch of them
clicked. Yeah, and my guy that I was hoping for more from is Dubinsky.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I think his 15-year-old games, everyone thought he played with so much energy, and he was so obvious out there. And then last year, there was little flashes. And even this year, there's been some, but you were just hoping for more of them, right? And they haven't really come yet. And you can see it. He's down on the fourth line now in some games. And some of the blue line, not been a little discouraged with Feist personally. Just haven't seen him maybe where we would hope he would be. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, some of the negative part of it, but some of the highlights, I think.
But it was the hopes. We were hoping they'd step up point-wise.
Sure.
But maybe they've maxed out. Maybe that's what kind of player they're going to be.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hopefully not. Hopefully they can produce as they get a little older.
Yeah, you hope that they're always going to take that next step. They're a year older, a year stronger, a year more in the league. And yeah, some guys can make that next step and some guys don't. And that's, like you said, that could be maybe their max potential, right?
They might have peaked.
Max level, yeah.
I hope not for all of them. I want them all to succeed.
Yeah. And you think...
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it just is...
You assume that they're going to, but some guys don't, right?
And maybe they're playing out a role. Maybe certain guys need to have more of an offensive position than a defensive. I don't know.
Yeah, if we knew, we would be rich, right?
Exactly.
How about some of the positive surprises?
The Torney trade. He was he helped. I don't know. If it seems like he revitalized the power play, but unfortunately he got hurt.
Yeah. What's the update on his injury?
It was 1 week last Tuesday. I think or this Tuesday. It might have been 1 week.
Yeah,
so
it should be back.
After holidays. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Actually, he
all of a sudden he got picked up and the power play just started to click. I don't know if it was him, but they might have changed a few things.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, they did change up. I know even when they brought in Whitnick, he really revitalized the power play the first time.
Yeah.
Because the power play looked awful.
And then it turned good, and then it went stale again.
Yes, it did, yeah. And now on that road trip through Alberta and stuff, they had a power play goal in every game, and there was like 7 out of 8 games they had power play goals. So Chorney helped it again, gave another injection of life.
And Denemy too. I think he's got 6 or 7 power play points, something like that.
Yeah,
since he's been here.
A bunch of assists, only 1 or maybe 2 goals, but I mean, he's helped it out. Both those guys have helped it out. So that both those trades I thought were good. Even the addition of Zach Smith, that was a nice pickup.
Yeah,
he's fitting well.
Yeah,
whatever role they put him in, he plays well.
So would you say the positive is that they've made these changes, and rather than just sitting back and saying, "Oh, 1 in 10 is fine," obviously there was they weren't exactly happy with where things were.
No, and I don't think anybody is. And John Paddock, he's not one to stand pat. Like he's got no problem making moves whether or not you agree with them all. But
Yeah.
he's made some moves and injected some new life into this team and has helped this team get better.
One of the positives I've seen is the change in set-offs game. Last year he played every single game without scoring one goal. Now, I don't know, at least it looks like he's having some fun out there and getting up in rushes and playing. And
Yeah, you see him behind the net,
Yeah.
the opposing net and stuff. So
yeah, so maybe he's just finding a little bit more of a groove here. It doesn't seem to have sacrificed his defensive ability too much. So, stepping up into that role has been nice. What's your predictions for the last half here?
I don't know. I think we're probably good for 10 wins, I think.
And last year we had 19.
Yeah, we had 19.
Because you were shooting for 20.
Yeah, so what do we got? 8. So
12 out of 38.
We
I
need
think
12.
it's doable.
Yeah, 10 to 12.
If they stand pat, that's doable.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. What's going to happen with the trades, and what does this team look like after January 10?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we looked decent after the trade deadline last year.
Yeah.
Despite losing a bunch of talent. Like, more talent that we had than this year, right? I mean, as long as we don't play on Sundays, because our record on Sundays is 0-4-3 on Sundays.
What about midweek? What are we doing?
No. Friday, Saturdays are our day.
Friday, Saturday. Yeah.
We don't have a win Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday. How many games have we had on Tuesday?
Just
the two, and they've been just terrible.
Yeah.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
Wednesdays
Some
are
of the
no
worst
good.
games.
We're 2-5-1 on 3-5-1 on Fridays and 5-4 on Saturdays.
5-4 on Saturdays.
Yeah,
That's
our day.
that's
Saturday
good,
night.
yeah.
So
Saturday night for the boys.
yeah.
How many-
Plus we got the road trip coming up, the West Coast road trip, which we didn't do it.
Well, the States will be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be tough because that division is real good, top to bottom.
Even when we had a good team, we struggle
And,
out there.
I think everybody struggles.
Yeah.
Like, you just go.
That's
out
gonna be
there.
tough. That's a good point. I think it's gonna be challenging to get those 12 wins.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Mhm.
It'd be nice to crack that 20 mark. We didn't get there last year.
Yeah. It'll just be it'll be a failure if I don't think we get to at least 19 mark last year.
Yeah,
The
because we
same as
thought we
last
could
year.
do better than last year.
Yeah.
We're on the trending upwards, but the first part of the first half was real tough.
Yeah, and like Kevin said, it'll depend what we do. If they move Paddock,
Yeah, I don't know what to expect then.
it'll be.
It won't be fun.
Yeah. Well, are you still having fun?
Here and there. That Winnipeg game, it was not fun.
No, Kamloops was not fun.
It was not fun.
It's a one fun game out of the last
I don't know.
three.
The atmosphere just seems to be down this year.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All over. Like it's not just Regina. There's a lot of places that they're saying the fan experience isn't the greatest anymore. Just people aren't having fun.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, the teams are trying to do everything at every single break. Like, is that increasing your interest in games? Like, do people come to the games to listen to the guys rattle off an advertisement every whistle and some promotion
And missing the replays
and not
'Cause
showing the replays?
because they're doing
Showing
some
an ad.
stupid thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Has that fan experience been a negative thing to you?
It hasn't been good this year. I don't know. It just the team's not doing well. Of course, we know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just feels, I don't know, something just doesn't seem right. And I can't explain it other than the fact they're not winning, but there just doesn't seem to be something. There's a disconnect somewhere between the fans and just the whole thing. It's weird. I don't know how to really explain it.
And obviously the attendance has been down compared to last year as well. So that
But
doesn't-
even like they're trying these promotional games like Jay and Dan, and even that one I looked around, I thought
yeah, it was a Friday night, and I thought it'd be
Teddy
more-
Bear Toss.
Yeah.
Like those are the games that are supposed to be
Packed.
packed.
Yeah.
What was the one year the breast cancer awareness hasn't happened yet, right?
No, I don't think so.
I tried to go to that game before I had season tickets, and I walked up and chance, and that was, I forget which year that was. That was a few years ago now. We'll see what that one's like, because that was another one that was a big one, and they usually play Swift Current, and I think they do again this year. So we'll see what that looks like. I don't know. Is it a sign of the economic times too? And it's not an expensive ticket, but if you're just walking up and it's you and your family, it's still,
$100.
pushing $80 to $100. So I don't know. I noticed it at Rider games too, right? Do you go to?
I haven't been to a Rider game for a while, but
Um,
I see it. You can see it on TV. That
yeah,
the stands are a quarter empty sometimes.
yeah. And they used to be hard to get Rider tickets. Like it was.
Yeah, it was a tough get, and now I thought they built the stadium too small because
Yeah.
it was only a few thousand more than the old stadium, and I was like, oh well, they're selling out all the time, and now you get the new stadium, and it's you can get tickets anytime you want. So,
and it's hard to get the real stats too, right? Because if you look through, I think it's artificially inflated.
Well, every season ticket holder is accounted every game, no matter what, right?
Yeah,
tickets sold.
It's tickets sold, yeah.
Yeah. So the games that we don't go to still get counted, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but you just look at the stands and you can see it's pretty slim on some nights.
Because they're saying, I'm just looking here, anywhere from 36 to 47, 56 for one. Like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But you look at Medicine Hat, that's kind of like they had 4,006 every single game for 10 years. They build a new stadium, new rink. They move it out on the edge of town. It holds close to 6, I think it is.
I think it's bigger than the Brand Center.
Okay.
I think it's actually bigger.
Okay, so it's more than 64, and they're getting like 3 now. Like they're getting less people now than they were before. So now is it because it's out of town or on the edge of town, people don't want to go? Is it because...
The Hat's not that big, though.
No, I know it isn't. But some people are just like, well, it's more than 5-minute drive. I'm not going, right? Some people have that attitude. Or is it now, okay, tickets are available. I can go anytime I want, so I'll just go when I want.
Right.
I'm not going to get my season tickets because I can just roll in anytime. I don't have to get a season because I can go to any game.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree. The games aren't a ton of fun.
Well, when you lose a lot, it's usually
Is it just
not
the
fun,
losing?
right? I mean, they've looked bad in some games, so that doesn't help. So if you go to a game, say you go to that Swift Current game or even that Kamloops game, and you roll in and you see this is your first game of the year, and you see that kind of effort or that kind of product on the ice, and you're just like, nope, I'm not coming back, right?
Yeah. There was even somewhere they had some people there, and I think it was their first hockey game. Was that the Kamloops or the Kelowna game?
Don't recall.
Oh God. And they weren't Canadian people. This is what
Canada, right?
This is what they get all worked up about, and it was like coming back. We're starting with that home and home against Moose Jaw. Now you had predicted these to be 2 wins.
Yeah,
you still feeling?
Yeah,
think so.
I think so.
Yeah,
Moose Jaw's really struggling.
They are, man. I was just looking at,
but they beat Kamloops, so I don't know what happened there. Kamloops, I think
Kamloops fell apart though. They were up 4-1,
4-0,
4-0, and ended up losing 5-4 in overtime.
Yeah,
so
I think
that was a collapse. I think that's more about Kamloops and not Moose Jaw.
Yeah, maybe just taking the second half off.
Yeah. So you know what? If we win those 2 games, we'll be tied for them.
There you
go. Small Vic. Let's just put our target on Moose Jaw.
We need to keep upping our stock here. We can't give Saskatoon that good of a pick because there's some good players at the top end. That's real good. I mean, we'll get one because of Swift Current, but we don't want to give Saskatoon. The top 3 are going to be, by the sounds of it, really, really good. So you can't go wrong with any of the top
3. And so whose pick do we have?
Swift Current. So they're, I believe. And I think we're
us
third.
PG.
We're ahead of PG? We're behind. PG just beat somebody. I think
we have the same amount of
as PG.
But they've played more games, so we should be ahead of them.
We could be ahead of them if we win.
Yeah. And if we beat Moose Jaw, then,
we're right with them.
We're rolling. Okay, anything else you want to talk about, Kevin?
Who do you think the Pats MVP so far is this year?
So most valuable player?
Most valuable player.
Are we taking this as the literal definition, like MVP?
The MVP.
I would say it has to be Paddock, because I'm debating between Pratt and him, but this team does not win if Paddock does not play well. There's other people that can score goals here and there, but if Paddock has a bad game, even a bad goal, one bad goal can be the difference between a win and a loss.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I was going to say Pratt because he's been the most consistent.
I think he's our best player.
He's the best offensive player.
He's the best, but he's not the most valuable.
The most valuable's got to be Paddock.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. And that's what's so scary about even talking about him, because it's going to...
Yeah, and like you said, because our options behind Paddock are not good. So,
or they're more unknown than not good. They're more unknown.
Yeah.
We've had Buskey for how long now, and he's played 2 games.
Yeah, and so how many games did you play last year with PA? Because Ian Scott...
He only played like a dozen or something like that.
Yeah, Ian Scott carried the load for PA last year. So he hasn't got any league stuff. Oh, that's what I was going to bring up. WHL Live is doing their Christmas gifts. Three nights of free hockey if you're on WHL Live. I still don't know why they don't. They do a Thursday, Throwback Thursday game. It's a free game from whenever.
The past, yeah.
Yeah, why don't you have a current game? Like, honestly, who's going to go back and... that's
Some
my
random
opinion.
game from...
Yeah, like 2001 or 2
Yeah,
or whatever. Like, I don't know. They're really dropping the ball on this, I think. But
Yeah,
that's just...
yeah.
I think WHL could do even more. Like, I was talking to Rod Peterson today, and they had that interview with Cole and like Sillinger, and that was great.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, because we did the clip, we cut it out because they always release like segments on social media, and he's like, yeah, Medicine Hat didn't retweet it or they didn't jump on it or anything because they talked about choosing the WHL over over NCAA, whereas both his older brothers went.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, they just don't want to. They have promoting our promotion of their league, whereas the SJHL literally just loves him.
Yeah,
he's going to all these different rinks, pumping SJHL business, and they
Yeah.
love it. They have no problems, and that's another thing where you get back to the attendance issue. Like, if you can, they got to maybe be better on advertising and stuff like that. And WHL Live isn't helping because at least there was a discounted rate this year, a 1-year deal this year. But see what happens next year. I don't know. There's a few things I think they could, as a whole.
just marketing their brand.
Yeah, marketing.
The WHL
could be
in
better,
general.
I think.
Like, you do... I see the Pats advertised a fair bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, like...
Is it more than advertising? Because I think people know
because
they
I don't...
exist.
Yeah, exactly, right? You have to be pretty not aware of it if you don't know that the Pats exist and play hockey in Regina,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't subscribe to most regular media outlets. Like, I don't watch regular TV. I don't read the newspaper. I don't... Stuff like that, right? So, like, how are they reaching those people that don't do that as well, right? Like they advertise at the Cooperator Center. Okay.
Yeah.
If you are going to the Cooperator Center, you're either interested in hockey or ringette. So if you're interested in hockey and ringette, you know the Pats.
But it
exist.
is on... it's on TV right now. Because I have TV and I watch CTV. It's on TV. It's on radio. I don't know if they do any targeted ads on Facebook or any other social media. I don't know. I am not a marketing...
No. How much
I have
coverage
no
do they
idea
get
how
on
to do
TV? Like, do they show highlights on CTV News, nightly news?
On Global for sure.
Global?
Yeah.
Okay.
Global does for sure.
Okay.
And Phil's on there quite often, I think.
Is he? Okay.
Used to be anyways, in the mornings.
Okay. Because I know we watch CTV News, and I don't think I see. You might see some Pats. You certainly don't see any other WHL news.
Yeah. Well, because I know after the games, there's nobody doing interviews except me and Greg Harder.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody down there.
Mm-hmm.
So
And not even them though.
I mean, they
don't do the Pats TV's much stuff anymore either.
Yeah, they're not doing the video for whatever reason post game to put out on social media. I don't know why they don't, but I mean, like the news, like they'll go to the practices and they can do the interviews during the day.
Yeah.
Because there's the daily afternoon media availability. I don't know who shows up there because I don't go to that one because
You have a
I
real
got a day job as well. So, I mean, if it's not busy, I could duck out. But we've been actually kind of busy at work, so maybe I'd be able to get out to some of those. But
Right.
it's just, I don't know, because there's nobody after the games covering the games after the. I mean, sure they'll show the highlights on Global or whatever, and that's it.
Or is it just a matter of they're not winning?
Yeah,
And this
helps.
is a fickle business, and it's just that like when they were winning, it was
Everywhere.
yeah
It was everything Pats.
yeah, it was crazy.
No, you're lucky to see anything.
Yeah,
The odd jersey maybe here and there, the odd hat, but you don't see much anymore.
yeah.
It's 2 years. 2 years.
2 years from a Memorial Cup team, and 3 years from one of the best teams in team history.
and it's
And
like
it's like they're dead.
off the map.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's any sport nowadays,
it
right?
is. It really is.
There's just so many options. People move on. If you're not doing well or your product isn't good, they'll move on to find something else.
Yeah.
Like this town is still 100% riders. Like the amount of rider stuff that still gets pumped out in the off season is unbelievable. But people eat it up.
That's
so
what I was just going to say. It's not that they're putting it out, it's people consuming it.
Yeah.
And that's why,
I
right?
know. That's Like I don't know. I vary my interests, so if it's the off season, I'm shit about like,
Pats?
Well, in the obviously we've got more of interest in the Pats.
Yeah.
But in the summer, no, I'm going to the Red Sox game. I'm
Yeah.
watching that, or I'm watching the Blue Jays. I move
Yeah.
on. I'm
Yeah.
watching baseball.
there's nothing said during the summer hardly with the Pats.
No.
No, there isn't either.
Once you
right?
get your season ticket renewed, the playoffs are done. If they don't make the playoffs, then it's a shorter season.
Yeah.
It's really short.
And lots of people don't even care about the Memorial Cup unless the Pats are involved in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we can sit here and speculate, but I think it really comes down to, like you said, Chris, sports success is what sells tickets.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying, Kevin, the feeling in the rink and the disconnect and just not a lot of energy is because of that.
Definitely, for sure.
And you're sitting there and nobody's really that interested. Sure, you get a little punctuation. It's nice. It keeps coming back, like the Kelowna game. But we need a few more of those, and they're going to need something coming up. And if they sell off here and they win 6 or 7 games on the back end, it's going to be yikes. It's going to be people might not, you might lose. I don't know. You're going to lose the long times. You're going to lose the people who came on after that energy. Yeah, because they're going to say,
the long time, the long terms, they're going to stick around. They'll stick it out unless the prices go up substantial. They'll stick around.
Yeah,
I hear a lot of people saying that they won't, but still they'll stick around.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Our ticket prices are pretty reasonable. Our season ticket prices are pretty reasonable compared to across the country.
Yes, yeah.
Like we have one of the cheapest tickets available in the whole.
That's true. Yeah. I think you're going to keep the long term. You're not going to lose them because they've been through this.
Yeah, the ups and downs.
This is normal.
It's junior hockey. It's going to happen.
You're going to lose the people that kind of got on board after the Memorial Cup and the good seasons, but and maybe they'll come back once it comes back.
Yeah, once it comes back, it'll be a couple more years. I think
It's going to be a couple of years. It's not going to be next year. No. Okay, you guys good?
Yeah, I should
Good.
wrap it up.
All right, let's wrap it up.
We've been going for a while.
Thanks to Kevin for coming in. That was a lot of fun. It's nice to have you in person. It just adds a little bit. Even when Chris and I talk on the phone and try and do it, it's just a little bit more difficult. I think you don't have that.
It's fun. It's a lot better than trying to deal with a delay.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
Skype delays.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hope to do it again. We'll do our year-end wrap-up probably sometime in, what is it, March?
Yeah. Middle of March.
Yeah, mid-March. I don't think we're hoping for anything longer than that this year. Yeah, we'll just keep sticking it out and keep doing this. And I don't know, I just hope for some entertaining games.
Yeah.
That's all I'm really looking for now. Chris, anything else to say?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Oh, you should show off the shirt a little bit.
Oh, yeah. We're wearing our new...
Yeah. So these are the
let's
In
see.
Paddock We Trust shirt. Kevin, if you have a blank shirt, you bring us one and I'll print you one up.
Sure.
Okay.
Matt's a silkscreen expert now.
Yeah. All these. I just like to learn new things. So yeah, podcasting and making shirts and shit. So yeah, that's good. Okay, we'll sign off for the day. Thanks for everyone for listening, and thanks for Kevin for coming in. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.